All right, so a lot of people think that homelessness is just, you lost your job, you got sick, you got injured, you have a drug addiction, something like that. And, on surface level, yes, if you've never experienced homelessness, the one thing that you can see that is common that manifests itself in front of you is, well, these people are begging, they don't have jobs. Well, here's the thing. There are deeper issues that actually create the whole homeless problem. And, until we resolve those issues, homelessness won't really be able to make a turn because, a lot of it has to do with self-accountability and self-responsibility, so on and so forth. So I'm Friar Tuck. This is my epoch. If you're into, homeless issues and prepping issues, this is the channel. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to leave me a comment. I really like to see what you guys think. Okay, so, when I went homeless the first time, there was a deeper issue that was going on, and anybody that I've ever come across, they've always had a deeper issue that's going on. For me, I had implied expectations, because I never voiced it. I just, said, well, if I did this for you, you do this for me. And, it led to disappointment. It led to heartbreak. It led to emotional turmoil. Not only that, my parents never really, brought on emotional maturity, the ability to communicate and things like that. And so, with all the problems that I'm having because of my inability to communicate and to be able to articulate what it is that is really going on with me, because again, you can't actually articulate that unless you actually, do some self-reflection, do some self-understanding, and that was one of the big issues that, I realized when it came to my plight in being homeless is that I was my own worst enemy. The things in which I was doing, the habits in which I had. So I have poor money habits, again, because it was never passed down to me. And so therefore, it kind of like a dog that just sees, an unlimited, amount of food on the ground. I'm just going to, eat to my heart's content. When it comes to homelessness, you have to really, if it's going to affect you, or if you know people that it's affecting, look at their personality traits, look at their habits, look at what it is that they're doing as individuals, and see what it is that they're doing to contribute to their problem. Because I have poor money skills, when it comes to saving, it's something that I struggle with. When it comes to making proper financial decisions, quality over quantity, or quality over price, and doing the cost benefit analysis and things like that. Now, as I've gotten older and you kind of experience life, and also from owning a business, I got better at my money management skills because I was forced to through experience. But most people that end up getting out here, their money management skills it takes them to a point where they're spending money on things that they want instead of things that they need. They're going out there and they're buying something, based upon hype, and then they never use it. And so therefore, they become the perfect consumers. Well, you know what? For some people, as my mom used to always tell me, your income and your tastes don't match. You've got wine tastes on a beer budget. And, that it took me a lot of years to really put that into play, as far as, keeping my taste on beer taste with the beer budget, and being able to be more responsible with my money, to be able to make it, stretch out, to be able to only put it towards things that I need, instead of things that I want. We all have those things. It's like, oh, I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this. Ever go talk to a homeless person, ask them what they would do with $1 million? Man, it's like a kid, when you ask them what they want for Christmas. I want a pony, I want a horse, I want Batman's car, I want the Grinch, I want this, and I want that, and I want this, and I want that. Okay, so that's one of the many reasons why people end up homeless, is just because of money management skills. Another thing is self-accountability and self-responsibility. My grandfather used to call it the year of the child, because he grew up in a time where children were seen and not heard. And my mom the same way, and that was kind of the way that I was raised, which is why I turned out different than most of my peers. And so as he became an adult and then got to the age of retirement and things like that, children started having more rights, to the point where it went from children having no rights to children have all of the rights, and it's just gone from one extreme to the other. And so in that transition, it leaves destruction in its wake, because we're just going from one extreme to the other without actually finding some sort of healthy balance within society. Kids have rights, but you also have to discipline them and teach them how the world is, because the world is a cruel place. Okay, so you guys have heard me tell stories of unruly children that I've seen, and how they're able to cause nightmares in their parents' life, because you can't even spank a kid in public anymore, because if you do, it's now considered child abuse. Well, that's so extreme. Now the child thinks that they can get away with anything. Now there's no accountability. And what kind of adult do you create when you show a child that there's no accountability, that the second that they stand up and complain, that everybody will hear them and they will get what they want, even if they shouldn't be getting what they want? Just like Sam, we go into a store and she doesn't want to heal, and so she'll flop down on the ground and roll on her back and throw a temper tantrum the same way a kid would, as they dropped the ground and just started screaming, in the middle of a store. Well, if you're not allowed to discipline your child, then you're teaching your child that is good behavior. And then when they become an adult and they realize that the world does not accept that behavior and will not tolerate it, and therefore they're closing doors and opportunities because they were not properly taught. This is the perpetuating cycle in which we're creating for ourselves. And again, self-accountability is probably one of the most important things that you can do. Like, if you want to avoid homelessness, or at least if you become homeless due to circumstance versus due to personality flaws and toxic traits, take a moment and deal with self-accountability, because when you start asking yourself, what am I doing to contribute to this problem? And, even I still, sometimes I regress back to, it's everybody else's fault. I'm not responsible. And I have to deal with the consequences of that. And eventually when, the emotion gets away from it and I take the time to stand back and realize, no, it wasn't somebody else's fault. It was my fault, because this is what I did to, make the situation worse, and it doesn't excuse the other person's behavior, but it takes two to tango. In order for things to escalate and to be out of control, it's not just the one person. It takes two to tango in any situation. Unless somebody's just having a full-on meltdown in the middle of like McDonald's or in the middle of the street, it takes two to tango. And there was something that set that person along those lines. So, people think, again, that homelessness has to do with money. And this is why I say a lot of the time, sometimes, depending upon the individual, money may not be the solution. Getting them a job may not be the solution, because if they still have those personality traits that are causing this issue, getting them a job isn't going to fix it. It's going to prolong it, and it's just going to keep, going through the inevitable cycle of, well, you know what, we can't take you anymore, you're gone, and then you have a hard time finding another job, then you're homeless again. And why? Because you have certain personality traits that are abrasive to the community in one form or fashion. Okay, so again, does getting a job fix homelessness? No. Does putting a roof over somebody's head, does that fix homelessness? No, because if you put a roof over somebody's head, but yet there's no accountability, they're not able to learn life's lessons. Because, and I'm going to do another video on this for those of you that really want me to expand on this topic. I actually have another video planned on top of this. But, life's lessons, you need to learn life's lessons. And sometimes you're not given these lessons when you are, a child. And so as an adult, you have to learn this lesson, and it's much harder because society expects you to have already learned these lessons. I know I've dated quite a few women where I'm like, dude, I learned this in my 20s. Why are you now learning this in your 30s and 40s? And the older you are to learn a lesson that you should have learned at an earlier age, the more painful it is. And so, if it's a fact of, you're making poor money decisions and you got somebody putting a roof over your head, are you enabling that person, or are you fixing their situation? So does actually giving them housing fix the issue. No, it doesn't, because again, there are core personality traits and mental issues that are going on, whether it be just the parents' dereliction of duty as a child, the child's brain chemistry being off because they're just super rebellious for one reason or another, and it has nothing to do with their upbringing, because not everybody got a crappy upbringing and is immune, or excuse me, not everybody that got a crappy upbringing will be out here, but not everybody that is out here had a crappy upbringing as well, because there are people that had a decent upbringing that were brought up to be responsible adults that just for whatever reason, whatever was going on in their head, these other traits, kind of came out and put them in the situation that they're in. So again, you could throw money at the issue, but money isn't going to fix it. This is why I tell you, you need to get to know your homeless person, understand what it is that they're doing, and maybe even take some time and just, become a friend, a confidant, and being like, hey, because I mean, even the old man that I was camping with, because we're waiting at the Greyhound station right now, even the old man that I was camping with, when he said something, it was like, hey, well, this is how I raised my kid, and this is what I would do, and this is some words of wisdom, and it's up to me to whether I take that wisdom or not. But to be able to have somebody to pass that on to me so that it would help me have better interactions with those around me, that is more valuable than putting a roof over my head or anything else like that. That is teaching me to fish, because I'm learning that I'm throwing the wrong bait out, and that's why I'm starving. Okay, so anyways, you guys know how to help the channel. Become a subscriber. Everything else is down in the description. I'd love to see you over on Patreon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.